Hey third graders, let's check problems 61 through 65 in your math packet. Have that out and ready and make sure you've completed them all. Pause the video if you need to work them out and then you can check them. A teacher formed 3 study teams from 63 students. The first team had 27 students and the second team had 14 students. In the equation below, N represents the number of students on the third team. 27 plus 14 plus N equals 63. How many students were on the third team? The easiest way to figure this out, which I bet you did, was to add the 2 teams that were given, 27 and 14. When you add 7 and 4, you get 11. 2 plus 1 is 3, 1 more is 4. 41. Now 41 is the total of the first 2 teams, but it is not the answer. Notice it's an answer choice. That's tricky. Somebody might have picked that one, but that's not your answer. That's the total of the first and second team together. We have to add the third team to 41 to get 63. So 41 plus N equals 63. We're going to switch that around and make it a subtraction problem. 63 minus 41. That will give us the missing add in here. 3 minus 1 is 2. 6 minus 4 is 2. So N has to equal 22. Now let's be on the safe side before we move on, and let's check and make sure it works in there. Let's add 27, which is team 1, 14, team 2, and 22, which we think is team 3. And let's see if that gives us a total of 63. 7 plus 4 is 11. 2 more is 13. 2 plus 2 is 4, 5, 6. It worked perfectly. So always go back and check your work. Put 22 in for N, and you should get 63 when you add the 3 numbers. That tells us for sure that we have the correct answer. 62. On Monday, Lana walked from her house 6 blocks to school, 5 blocks to the library, 2 blocks to the post office, and then took the same path home. How many blocks did Lana walk all together? So let's look at a couple of things. She starts at her house, so I'm going to put an H. She walks 6 blocks to school, so I'm going to put a 6 here. 5 blocks to the library, so that was 5 blocks, and 2 blocks to the post office. So it took her 6 plus 5 plus 2 blocks to get from her house to the post office. 6 plus 5 plus 2 equals 13. Notice 13 is an answer choice, but is 13 the answer? No, it is not, because it says she took the same path back home. It didn't say how many blocks did it take her to get to the post office. How many blocks did it take her to get from her house to the post office and back home? So she goes 2 blocks back to the library, 5 blocks back to the the school. And then she goes 6 blocks back to her house. So we would have to double that. It took 13 to get to the post office, 13 blocks to get back. 13 plus 13, 26. It took her 26 blocks to get from her house to the post office and then back to her house. Check that one if you got it. I hope you didn't get tricked on that one. Number 63. Maria is writing a 500-word story for a contest. She wrote 230 words on Monday and 132 words on Tuesday. Which of the following number sentences could be used to find the number of words she needs to write on Wednesday to finish the 500-word story? Let's draw a little diagram to to help us see what we're looking for. 500 is the total. So we know that Monday she wrote 230 words. Put an M there. Tuesday she wrote 132 words. And Wednesday, that's our unknown. So I'm going to put a question mark there. We don't know. But we know that if we add Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, that should give us 500. So let's look for one of the choices that would show us that we need to add these three to get 500 as a total. Definitely not D. That would be 500 minus Monday equals Tuesday. No, let's look at C. 500 plus Monday plus Tuesday equals Wednesday. Definitely not. 500 is the total. We never add the total to a part. Let's look at B. 230 plus 132 plus the unknown equals a total of 500. Bingo. There we go. But let's make sure A is not it. 500 minus the missing number equals Monday minus Tuesday. Not at all. The correct answer there is B. We have to add the three parts or the three add-ins to get the total. Check that one if you got it. Moving on to 64. Janie reads 14 pages a night for 7 nights. The book has 316 pages. How many pages does she have left to read at the end of the week? Let's read this one again. Janie reads 14 pages a night for 7 nights. The book has 316 pages. How many pages does she have left to read at the end of the week? Well, we have some equal groups here. I'm going to draw a quick tape diagram because when we have days or months or weeks, I always like to make a tape diagram. So let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we should have 7 sections, 14 pages a night. So that's 14, 14, 14, 14, 14, 14, and 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now, in order to find this total, which we're going to have to do to find out the total number of pages she read, there are a couple things we could do. A lot of you probably just started adding them, and you added a few 14s and added a few more 14s and got a total. That's one way to do it. You could add these 3, see what you get, add those 4, see what you get, and add your two totals together to get the total of 14 times 7. Now, when we have 14 times 7, we could break 14 into 2 numbers. That would be easy to multiply by 7 since we haven't yet learned how to multiply 7 times 14. We could take 14 and break it into 10 and 4. And we could say 10 times 7 plus 4 times 7 equals our total here of pages she's already read. Remember distributive property? What's 10 times 7? 70 plus 4 times 7. What's 4 times 7? 28. What's 70 plus 28? Well, let's write that vertically. 70 and 28. And you should get 98. So 98 would be the number of pages that she's already read. We need to find how many pages are left after she reads 98 pages when there's 316 pages in the book. So we're not finished yet, even though, if you notice, 98 is one of the answer choices. But that's not the answer. We're not there yet. It's a 2-step problem. So let's take the total number of pages, which is 316, and let's subtract 98. And that will tell us how many she has left. How many she has left to read. And that would be subtraction. So let's look at our ones. More on the floor, go next door and get 10 more. Mark out the 1, put up a 0, bring over a 1, mark out the 6, bring up a 6, and subtract. What's 16 minus 8? 8. What's 0 minus 9? We can't take 9 from 0. So we're going to have to go next door and get 10 more, mark out the 3, put up a 2, bring over a 1, and subtract. Now we have 10 minus 9. 10 minus 9 is 1. And 2 minus nothing is 2. So the difference, which is the difference is the answer you get when you subtract, is 218. If you missed that one, which I know some of you did, take a little bit of time, click pause, and I want you to work it out again, making sure that you understand why you missed it. That one was a little bit tough. Okay, let's look at 65. This is our last one for today. Miss Walker brought a box of 24 apples to her office. By noon, 8 of the apples had been eaten. By the end of the day, another 11 apples had been eaten. How many apples were left at the end of the day? Okay, let's start with her total. She has 24. When apples are eaten, would we add or subtract? Subtract. That takes the apples away. So let's subtract 24 minus 8. And when we do, we should get 16. So after those 8 apples were eaten, there were 16 left, but then 11 more apples were eaten. So then we'll subtract 11. And when we do, 5. 5 apples are left. Now you could have done this differently. You could have added 8 plus 11, and then you could have subtracted that total from 24. Either way, it should have given you 5. Some of you might have even drawn out 24 apples, marked out 8, and then marked out 11, and then looked to see how many you had left. That would be an excellent strategy to use also. Okay, for tomorrow, we're going to work on 66 through, let's go through 71. Let's just finish this page and then stop at the end of this page. So 66 through 71 for tomorrow. Work really hard on those. Show your work, please. If it's a 2-step problem, show all the parts. Make a drawing if you can. Good luck.